You have precisely 60 seconds to vacate our property, my daughter told her mother, and I never felt prouder. 8 months ago, my wife Kira vanished from our home in Portland, leaving me and our 15-year-old daughter Leah completely stranded. We'd been married for 14 years. The realization of her betrayal didn't come from a whispered late-night conversation or a suspicious lipstick stain. It arrived precisely at 8:15 a.m. on a rainy Thursday via a certified letter from a commercial bank. Kira had secretly forged my signature to take out a massive second mortgage on our family home. She drained exactly $100,400 to fund a luxury lifestyle and a fake wellness startup in Scottsdale with her so-called spiritual guru and personal trainer, Jonas. When I finally tracked her down at an airport lounge just hours before her outbound flight, she felt absolutely zero remorse. I stood there, practically hyperventilating, begging her to explain how she could steal her own daughter's college fund and abandon us. She just stirred her expensive cocktail and rolled her eyes. She told me my safe, predictable life was suffocating her spirit. She explicitly said she only married me because I had an impeccable credit score and a steady engineering salary, casually referring to me as her financial stepping stone. She told me to keep the heavily indebted house, knowing I wouldn't go to the police about the forgery because I wouldn't want Leah's mother in prison. She boarded that plane without looking back. Leah was absolutely shattered by the sudden abandonment. Kira blocked all our numbers. She missed Thanksgiving, ignored Christmas, and didn't even send a generic text for Leah's sophomore track final. For 8 grueling months, we lived on a razor-thin budget, surviving on generic groceries and selling my car just to keep the house from falling into foreclosure. We were finally finding our footing, healing the massive psychological wounds she left behind. Then, last Sunday evening at 9:30 p.m., the doorbell rang incessantly. Leah froze on the living room couch, her textbook dropping to the floor. I opened the door to find Kira looking frantic, disheveled, and completely unhinged. Instead of apologizing or asking about her daughter, she launched into a crazed, aggressive tirade. The federal authorities had recently raided Jonas's Scottsdale compound. The entire wellness business was a massive Ponzi scheme, and Jonas had vanished, pinning the financial logistics entirely on her. She was facing severe federal wire fraud charges and owed massive amounts in legal fees. She stood on my porch, jabbing her finger at my chest, and demanded I sell our home immediately to pay for her top-tier criminal defense attorney. When I firmly refused, her panic turned into pure malice. She threatened to tell the federal prosecutors that I was the actual mastermind behind the forged mortgage. She claimed she would drag me into the grand jury indictment as a willing co-conspirator unless I liquidated everything I had left to save her from federal prison. I was completely paralyzed, trying to process the audacity of her extortion attempt. That was when Leah quietly stepped onto the front porch. My daughter didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just calmly handed her mother a thick, heavy manila envelope. "Mom," Leah said, her voice dropping to a chilling, deadpan register. "Inside are high-resolution scans of the notary logbook from the day you faked Dad's signature. I spent the last 3 weeks tracking down the corrupt notary you bribed. I pretended to be a law student doing a project, and I got him to confess to the bribe on a recorded phone call to save his own license." Kira's jaw physically dropped, the color draining completely from her cheeks. Leah wasn't even close to finished. "I also printed out the hidden email draft you sent Jonas from the family iPad before you left. The ones detailing exactly how you planned to launder the house equity through his Arizona shell companies. I organized all of it chronologically, complete with IP addresses, specifically for the FBI tip line." Leah took a deliberate step closer, her eyes entirely hollow, staring down the woman who ruined our lives. "You have exactly 60 seconds to get off our property, or I press send on the encrypted email I've already drafted to the federal prosecutor in Arizona. And trust me, I am praying for an excuse to press it." Kira stood paralyzed, staring in absolute horror at the teenager she had casually discarded. Realizing she had zero leverage and was inches away from guaranteed prison time, she backed slowly down the driveway. She climbed into a rental sedan and sped into the dark without a word. We went back inside, locked the door, and Leah quietly asked if we could order a pizza.